We have Marty. Okay, so the meeting is starting officially. We have Tom, Marty, myself, Carl, Todd, and Richard Rose present.
Who is in the audience?
Paul Stone here.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Marty.
And Mitchell Moore.
Mitch Moore here with us in the room with Arnold.
Who is that?
Mitch Moore.
Mitch Moore.
Hello, everyone.
Carl.
My name is Stephen. I'm an attorney. I'm here on behalf of the applicant.
David Peterson from Onero Foundation.
And Steve, your last name?
Peterson.
No, but Steve, the attorney.
Yes, Mr. Rothbard, my last name is Finn, like Huckleberry Finn.
Ben, okay. Very good.
Hello,
Hi,
Janet.
I'm Janet. I need the meeting ID.
I just emailed it to you.
You did, I saw here. I lost it. I got it.
The other way to get it is on the town website
Okay,
under calendar.
okay. I will try that right now.
All right.
Thank you.
It's down on the right side of the page.
I'd like to raise my hand real quick. Just in case the call drops for me, I'm in Vermont. I don't have any questions and I approve of the plan. Was anyone able to hear that?
We heard,
Sure.
Yes, Marty, I heard that.
Okay, great. But I hope to be able to hear the whole presentation.
Mr. Finn, do you have any statement that you want to make to us?
Yes, I would, Mr. Nisley. Thank you very much. Again, for the record, my name is Steve Finn. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Wofsy Rose in Stamford, Connecticut. And I'm here on behalf of the applicant, 63 Park LLC. And I apologize if I'm telling you a little bit of information that you already may be very familiar with, but I do want to just state a couple of things for the record. The house, as you know, was built in 1836 in the Greek Revival style. Mr. Peterson of the Onero Foundation purchased the property in 2018 through an LLC from Richard Bergman, who I believe was a member of this commission at one point, and I think is very, very well familiar to all of you. Mr. Peterson is the founder of this Onero Foundation, whose mission is to increase public awareness of historic preservation and America's significant architecture. In addition, Onero's mission includes financial support for these goals. Mr. Peterson himself holds a number of degrees, including a master's in historic preservation from Columbia's University Graduate School in Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. When Mr. Peterson approached me with regard to his plans and aims for this property, he wanted to ensure that a special permit that Mr. Bergman had gotten in 2017, which would allow exhibitions to be held at this property, he would be allowed to continue after he took ownership. And in 2019, we appeared before the Planning and Zoning Commission for the town of New Canaan and described in detail Mr. Peterson's plans through his LLC for this property. And the major goal was to preserve the landscape and the building itself, but to open it up to public for exhibitions that were in keeping with Onera's mission, which is preserving historical structures and continuing the goal of New Canaan of preserving historic structures and becoming sort of an area known for preservation of historic structures. That goal was described and approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission back in 2019, and in fact was endorsed not only by our first selectman, but by the Chamber of Commerce as well. And so going forward, it became clear that because of that goal, that the property would need to become ADA compliant. In order to open it up to the public and have members of the public enjoy this property, be able to attend these wonderful exhibitions that would provide information and education about historical structures throughout America, that it needed to become ADA compliant. And that required the construction of an entrance that would be ADA compliant. And Mr. Peterson then retained the services of Karp Associates to assist in making the building ADA compliant. And I know a number of the alternatives available required significantly more exterior structural changes to the property than the one that's before you now. There was some thought of perhaps opening up some kind of entrance onto Park Street. There was some consideration of taking the existing back door, which faces, I believe, to the west where the parking area is, trying to make an extended ramp there. But all of that would really sort of impact the exterior of the structure, from what I understand, much more than the solution that they've come up with. And that solution is to change one window on the northerly side of the property to a door, have an ADA parking space created right there, and allow that to serve as the entrance for the ADA required entrance to the property. And so that's basically why we're here. There is one other change that I understand that I'll get to in a minute, but I want to spend just another minute or two on this changing of this window to a door. So it's interesting to note, I got a little bit of a kick out of this, that this change, this ADA change is required by the building department. The building department will not, has required this building to become ADA compliant and requires this door. Now, if you look at your regulations, who is the enforcement agent for the Historic District Commission? It's Brian Platts, the chief building inspector. So in a kind of ironic fashion, your agent is requiring my client to make this change. And so I think in that respect, since this is the most minimal change necessary to comply with that ADA requirement, I think this should be smooth sailing for this commission. Now, there is one other change, and that is a change to a window, which is not required to become ADA compliant. And that is the change of a palladium window, again, on the east side of the building that's underneath a overhang or a balcony. And perhaps Mr. Peterson or Mr. Karp can give you a little better description, but it's to change a palladium window to a regular window. I am not an expert in Greek Revival style, but my understanding is that palladium windows are not really consistent with Greek Revival style, and that Mr. Peterson's wish to change this window is more in keeping with the style of the building, and frankly is a very minor change that is going to be hard to observe from anybody on the street because it's underneath this balcony and it's hard to see. So I probably have treaded on the steps of some of my other people here on the Zoom, but that's my opening statement, Mr. Nistley, and thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. I have an old friendship with Kwafsky Rosen. And that, however, has, that's just an anecdote. So thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to respond to that? Todd, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah, thank you. Quick question. Where the door is, it seems like there's gravel there. Are you guys planning on repaving that so that if it's gonna be ADA compliant, that it's gonna be easier for ADA vehicles and facilities to be used there?
An excellent
Hi.
question, Todd. I will take that. It's Arnold Karp, and I'm working for the Onera Foundation and David. What Brian and the building department has suggested, and we're all in favor of, is since the existing gravel is actually very close to grade, we're going to add a little gravel, compact it with a roller so that if somebody needs to get through, believe it or not, gravel does meet the ADA requirement as long as it's not loose gravel. So in this case, we're going to add a little bit more gravel, compact it so that it is certainly easy enough for somebody to get in that entrance.
Will you do an oil and stone application? I know that's quite effective.
No, luckily that the Bergmans have had that gravel there so long, it's a very firm base. We can just add some regular pea gravel, what the driveway is made of. Currently, add an inch or two, make all of our ADA requirements, roll it, and both Brian and his building group were comfortable enough that that not only would meet, but it would exceed what we need to do for ADA. We will be adding a sign, the appropriate signage where that space would go. So the only thing that you'll really see is a handicap sign that dictates every space in America now with what used to look like a wheelchair. They've updated that, but there will be a post that will be there so that in case somebody pulls in, they will certainly know they're in the wrong space.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, my only other comment is that, you know, Greek revivals do have a lot of matte palladium windows. I don't think the one that's on Park Street has any historical significance to it. I mean, I don't feel strongly either way, but palladium windows were often used in Greek revivals and stuff. But to me, I'm not against changing it because the one that's there doesn't appear to be original in any fashion. Yeah, see, it seems like that was an afterthought rather than something that was part of the house to me. I went and looked at it the other day. I was like, didn't seem to have anything important to me. So I'm okay with the change from the palladium.
Todd, I'm sure David, the principal, could add to that, but yes, that window is not original to the structure. And, you know, I would date it sometime in the late 70s or early 80s.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how it ended
It
up
was
there,
actually
but
Richard Bergman when he did the renovation in 1973, although it took, I think, 6 or 7 years. So I'm not sure if it went in originally in the early mid 70s or late 70s, but that was Richard's addition when he did the renovation. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it. I went over, I took a look at it. It was like, I was neither here nor there with it. It didn't look like it had any historical significance to me, so.
yeah, Todd, I mean, I got to tell you, I feel the same way. I mean, I don't mean to be so friendly, but you know, it's not horrible.
Yeah.
But it just
Yeah,
a little out
exactly.
of place. It's just a little because the front facade is so beautiful that you kind of look to your left a little bit and you go, what?
Yeah, I
Just-
agree.
Again, it's not horrible. I mean, you could manage it if you had to keep it, but it's just a little. It's not quite as strong as the front facade. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and look, I really appreciate you guys coming back with this plan compared to the original one. I think this is great. And I think it's great that it's ADA compliant and I think it's a good change. So I'm in support of it.
I'm in support of it as well and have no questions about the application.
Does anyone else want to speak to this? I'll add that I'm also in support of it, and I believe, Mr. Peterson, that you're quite accurate in how that window got changed. And
I actually, Tom, not sorry to interrupt, but I actually called Richard and asked him about it just so I knew what I was talking about. But I didn't want to in any way, infringe on Richard's architectural abilities, but I did just want to check in and make sure that that was not that. But if you look at the historical documents that were filed with the national registration for the landmarks, it's part of that, but it wasn't there originally. So.
all right. Well, I think that means we might be ready for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
I
I'll
second
second.
it.
And Marty seconded.
All right. So it's been seconded and thirded. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Was
Motion
that
is,
everyone?
motion is carried.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Look forward to having you all at the first exhibition, which is currently scheduled for April of 2022.
Can't wait to see it.
That will be great.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
And
Thank you.
Well,
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you to all the people from Arnold and Paul, for your group, for being with us as well, and for the good work you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
At this point,
Well, thank you.
the meeting is concluded.
Bye-bye.